Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your board. P Farm, thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. Today, I got something good for you. Oh, yeah, let's get this party started. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and you know that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. Okay? If you're a right thinker, your goal should be to know thyself. So let's work together. So I ask the question, do you know you? The answer is rhetorical, but if you don't have it for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to my eye, be true. I'm gonna give you three in one this time. Getting good. I'm gonna start out with no, we're gonna start out with yoga philosophy and the world religions philosophies defined. I'm gonna give you a few different philosophical religious prospects from the Vedantas, the yoga. You got the isms. I'm gonna take you through monotheism, polytheism, okay, pantheism, all those isms. Then I'm gonna take you over to the three stages of religion, and we're gonna end up with a selected spiritual philosophy compared. I got all five different philosophical points of view. We're gonna compare them and see what they how they pair it, how they match up, and the same or differences. Okay, so let's start with yoga philosophy and the world religious philosophies defined. More definitions, but this is gonna break down. First one is yoga philosophy and discipline have developed independently as well as in conjunction with what? Religious philosophies. Now, it may be accurate to say what? That yoga is a science unto itself, which religions have used what? And incorporated into their religious philosophies. I'm just saying, and their practices. But the one thing I noticed that the religions didn't incorporate meditation. Moving on. But by relating the yogic principles to symbols such as the deities, we call them God and goddesses, some kind of angels and saints, etc. But the following is a brief description, that's what we're going to go over, of what? Different yoga philosophies in comparison to the philosophies which developed alongside it. Everybody had their own philosophical points of view. Creation story, moral code, everything. Christians, no different. Oh, let's start with the yoga philosophy. It's based on human consciousness and universal consciousness, heart, mind, are in reality one and the same. Once they come together, it become one. Everything's on the one. Watch this. They become one and the same. What? The appearance of separation is a mental illusion. Yoga is the mystical and mindful, thoughtful, aware, observant union of the individual and its universal consciousness by what? integrating the aspects of the individual's personality, thereby allowing the personality to what? Be purified so that it may behold its true essence, aka know itself. I'll put that in. Just helping them out. But that's what it comes down to. That's the yoga philosophy. That's what we practice pretty much. Now you got the Vedanta philosophy. Their spiritual philosophy of mystical psychology of the ancient India is two forms, two styles. They got the absolute monism. Only God is reality, all else is imagination. Okay. Two, modified monism. Now they say God is nature, as soul. God is to nature, as soul is to body. I like that. Nature can't exist without God. The body can't exist without the spirit, the soul. So I get the concept. That's a good one. So moving on down here to what? Oh, monotheism. Now this is the concept that the Christians claim Moses started. Again, I had to concur or just not agree with that concept. We got a God that we know as Moses' son, Akhenaten. They call him the heretic king because he decided only one God, which Atum. Okay, he was the monotheism God. Let's get that first. Quick, let's like to give you a little tidbit history. Oh, now let's talk about monotheism. Monotheism means what? The belief in the existence of a single God in the universe. We say that all the time. Ain't but one, we know that. But now, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are the major monotheistic religions. So they claim. In every one of them, God has a different name. Okay, but now it must be noted here that what? That the form of monotheism, watch this, espoused by the major Western religions is that on an exclusive personified deity who exists in fact at what? And who exists in fact, but and is what? Separate from creation. The Christian concept, God is separate from his creation. Now, in contrast, the monotheism of ancient Egyptians, Hindus, and your Gnostics in the ancient Gnostic Christian tradition envisions what? A single supreme deity that what? That is expressed in as the supreme deity of all other traditions, as well as the what? The phenomenon world. It is not exclusive, it's not exclusive, but universal. Okay. We already know that one supreme God. Moving on. That's monotheism. Again, one God. Polytheism. Okay, like polygamous, more than one. Polytheism means the belief in what? In or worship of what? Many gods. Such gods usually have what? Specific attributes or functions. Right there. That's what we teach out of Egyptian. The one God give all the other gods their functions, their purpose. Sound familiar? That's the concept. So totemism. The Native Americans, they had to call totem poles. Okay, and each one of the gods represented an aspect in the concept. They were fully aware of that. They got their own horoscope. They got their own philosophical concept. They own everything, and it's in tune with nature. Moving on, just to be understanding. Totemism is the belief in the idea that there is a relationship between the kinship groups and specific animals. You notice the Indians, there was nature bearers. They did animal everything. And plants. Many scholars believe that religions which use these symbols are what? Primitive. Why? Because they are seen as worshiping those animals themselves. Misunderstanding again. That's why the Egyptians didn't put a face in nothing to God. Why? They were misunderstanding. He was represented by a flag wrapped around with different bands of different colors representing nature. Was it yellow, green, and blue? Nature, sun, in the sky. But they had an understanding, but they know God ain't a person. They were fully aware of that. The hidden one, amen. So, and watch this. However, what? When the mythology behind the beliefs is examined more closely, what happens? The totems are understood again as symbols of specific totalitarian deities, which what relate the individuals to a group and also to a greater working of nature and ultimately to God. They got to God on their terms, on their way. So me being the only way to the Father, too brass, my man. Pantheism. Okay, what's that? You got two forms. The first form is absolute pantheism, and they believe everything there is God. God and creation are one. Agree with that. Second, modified pantheism. God is the reality or the principle behind nature. Okay, I agree with both of them philosophies. No problem with me with that. Now you got that's pantheism. Then you got paninism, term coined by K.C.F. Krauss in 1781 to 1832 to describe a doctrine that God is immanent in all things, but also transcendent, okay, so that every part of the universe has its existence in God, okay, but he is more than the sum total of all parts. Again, on all totals, I agree with them on that. Next one, my people. Hermeticism, you got Shitar Netta, you got ancient Egyptian philosophy, aka Egyptian yoga. That's right, thinkers, that's us. Watch this. We got one philosophy, monotheistic polytheism. What they're saying is this one God with many emanations of him. So they got many worship of different gods, emanations of God. So ancient Egyptian religion composes a single and absolute supreme deity that what? That expresses as the cosmic forces, aka God and goddesses, and also human beings and nature. Okay. They're saying God's in all things. We saying pretty much the same thing. Okay. Moving down, you got Hinduism and Mahayana, which is Buddhism. They got monotheistic polytheism concepts just like us. Pretty much the Hindus and Indians philosophies pretty much is almost identical. I'm about to show you that to you in a minute. So we pretty much think the same thing about God. Okay. Now we got the three stages of religion. What? Christians didn't know that. Y'all are getting indoctrinated into an occult. And it's at three different levels you have to obtain to become a full member, which means you're going to have to connect with God for yourself. That's the goal of religion, and I understand that. And when it's done right, you have a church for the righteous, good people, and church is growing and flourishing in the right manner. That's the church that I'm a part of. That's what I see. I've been there for years. Okay, so understand that. And again, you know me, I don't do religion, but I respect what and how they do it when it's done right. That's my point. Let's talk about the stages of religion. Give me a breakdown of understanding. If these are stages that you follow, you are a true religious follower. That's all. Watch this. Master Mason, if you just get the first degree or even the second, don't get the third, you can't consider yourself a Master Mason. You're a Mason because you're in the club, but you didn't pass the test. A lot of Christians consider themselves Christians. They ain't Master Christians, so to speak. Let's talk about it. Now, the three stages of religion. While on the surface, it seems that there are many differences between the philosophies, upon closer reflection, there is only one major difference. Really? Let's talk about it. That of belief or non-belief. I agree 100%. You're either in or you're out. Amongst the believers, watch this, there are differences, of opinion as how to believe. Really? Let's talk about it. Now, this is the source of all the trouble between religions. I've known a lot of Egyptian followers, Maya conscious brothers and sisters. We have yet to disagree about any aspect that we study. So putting that out there. We don't do the arguing thing, but we that we ain't Pentecostal, Holy Rollers, Satan, all that. No, no, no. But he can tell you about why it's going on. And watch this. And this is the source of all the trouble between religions. This is because ordinary religion is deistic, meaning it's routine, it's strict, okay? And it's based on what? Traditions and customs, which are themselves what? Based on the culture from that time. You can't use Christianity that they taught you back 2,500 years ago. It don't work. Why? Things change. The culture changed. Everything pretty much changes. Okay? And because it ain't legit, it had to change also. And since, watch this, since cultures vary from place to place, and what? From time to time in history to another, there will always be somewhat variation some variation in what? The spiritual traditions. I don't change nothing from my philosophy. I just follow it. Moving on. These differences will occur not only between the cultures, but even within the same culture. Why is that? An example of this is, watch this, Christianity, which is myriad of denominations. It's a whole bunch of y'all. Excuse me. Got the tickle in my nose. So therefore, what happens? Those who cling to the idea that religion has to what? Be related to a particular culture and its specific practices or rituals will always have some differences with what? With someone else's conception. Why? In the three stages of religion, if they're followed, you don't have that problem. The first one is the myth. That's the story. Okay, that's what you start with. Everybody knows the story. The rituals is you practicing, come to church, participating, understanding what they're doing, okay? And this is the first level, the first degree is the myth, okay? Everybody got that. The second degree is the ritual. A lot of y'all practice that. And this is where a lot of y'all get stuck. Y'all get stuck on the ritual. And what happened? The mysticism or culture belongs to what? The myth stage. You hear that? Most cultures belong to the myth stage of religious practice. And what they saying, put a pin right there. The myth is the first phase. That means y'all didn't even get the second phase. Y'all still stuck on just the myth part. Y'all ain't got to the ritual. And the ritual is when you partake in going to church and thinking just because you go to church and you know the myth, that you good. When you live it, when you practice it, something will happen. That's the mystical part. That's what you have to experience for yourself. They know that. They tell you that right here. I'm listening. I'm watching it. See it. Watch this. Watch this. Where am I down here? So watch this. Now, since the culture varies, spiritual. Okay, these differences would occur not only between the cultures. Watch this. Now, for example, y'all got myriad religious concepts. Now, these were those who claim. Where am I down here? Okay, here you go. Most of y'all culture belongs to the myth stage. That's only the first stage of the religious practice, the most elementary level. This is why a lot of Christian followers are only elementary. They're not high no, they're just elementary. They're just going through just to, don't be upset with me. The myth, first level. Ritual, second level. Mysticism, spiritual, your mystical experience, when you become conscious and know God, become anointed, whatever y'all want to call it. But that's got to happen through what? The practice and the understanding of the first two. What's this? An important thing which will be developed throughout this volume is what? Is the complete practice of what? Religion. I'm about to break down what y'all do. That is what? In its three aspects, mythology. And if y'all think that that book is not mythological, you're wrong. Myth means mythology. Okay. Then you got the ritual. Step 2. And with those two work together, practice and master, you get to hit the metaphysical or what y'all know better be as what? The mystical experience. I call it the spiritual enlightenment, whatever. But that's what happens if it's practiced and done correctly and sincere in earnest. Mysticism, the mystical philosophy, when mastered at the first level, watch this. But if you only at the first level of human beings, they learn what? The stories, the tradition of the religion. And they stuck right there. All they can tell you about Jesus died for us, Jesus this, Jesus that. Nothing else means nothing. They just can tell you about the myth. That's the first level. Okay, that's all they got. They didn't venture further. They didn't raise their conscious level no higher. And now let's talk about the second one. Now at the second level, they go through the rituals, are learned and practiced. You go to church. I'll be in church every Sunday. I'm in church. That's a ritual. I follow the ritual. Okay. I fellowship. I understand that. But here is the kicker. That's at the second level. Most people stuck right there. I go to church. Okay, do you get the message? Are you practicing stuff that's being taught at church? Because there's lessons that they teach. I go there for the lesson. Tell my pastor every week. We talk about the lesson every week. I'm learning. I want him to know I'm paying attention. So, yeah. And let's talk about the third level. The third level is up to every individual. It's personal now. Now, we went from dualism to single. That's what they're telling you. At this level, the third level of spiritual aspirant is what? Is led to what? Actually go beyond the myth, level 1, the ritual, level 2, and what? And to attain what? The ultimate goal of religion. I already had that mark. The purpose and the goal of religion is to get you there. So that's their job. That's what they represent. I ain't got a problem with that. It's just that we done diluted it, misunderstood it, corrupted it, misinterpreted it, mispracticed it, and that's where we are now with that. And when people say it don't work, yes it do. I'll tell you, it doesn't work. If it's done properly, like anything else. A push-up won't work if you don't do it correctly. So get the concept. And watch this. The goal of religion is to get you to God. Yeah, this is an important principle. Why? Because many religions present what? Different aspects of philosophy at what? At different levels, which is fine. And an uninformed onlooker may label it as what? Primitive or idolatrous, etc. But without understanding what is going on. For example, the Hinduism and ancient Egyptian religion present polytheism and duality where at the first two levels, I just told you that, of the religious practice. Again, however, there we go. However, at the third level, mysticism, the practitioner is made to understand that all of the gods and goddesses being worshipped do not what? Exist. Do not exist, in fact, but are in reality, here we go, aspects of your single transcendental supreme self, God. This is evident in what? The book we've called the Per M Haru. Y'all know that the book is there, but the book is coming forth by day. Becoming Haru, that means enlightened being. Okay? Right now. Now, where we at? In the area of yoga philosophy, watch this, in the category of monism, there are little, if any, differences. Watch this. This is because these disciplines belong to what? The third level of religion. And now, whatever you call it, you still have to reach this level. Watch this. Wherein what? Mysticism reaches its height. You become enlightened. You become awakened. You reach nihas, all that good stuff. But that's the purpose of all religions, not just Christianity, but they all want to do the same thing. The goal of all mysticisms is to what? Transcend the phenomenal world and all mental concepts is up here. Ordinary religion is a part of the world and the mental concepts of people and what? And must too be ultimately transcended. I want to cut the lesson short, but I got a little bit more, and I want to make sure I get in there. So we're going to go from the 3 stages of religion. I hope you got that understanding. Okay, you have to go beyond, raise the conscious level, become Christ conscious, know thyself. That's what they mean. Last one, selected spiritual philosophies compare. What you mean? I'm about to show you how every different philosophy compares to each one. I'm gonna break it down for you, and here's the diagram what it looks like. You see a top? Oh no, 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 no. Okay, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Yeah, okay. But if you see there, you see the top chart, then you got the bottom chart. And once you get an understanding, so I'm gonna break down every name up top. They're gonna do the different groups, and the bottom different religious concepts. But I want you to get an understanding, so you picture in your mind. If I had a screen, I had up, but right now I gotta give you your use your visual. Okay. So the sage of ancient times created philosophies. Why? Through which it may be possible what to explain the origins of creation. We all try to get the point across by explaining it so you can understand it. Moving on, as what we saw above with the chart I'm about to break down for you. And they what? Then they set out to create disciplines which could what lead a person to where? To discover for themselves, to discover God for themselves. Every individual has the right to discover God for themselves and what? And the spiritual truths of life, and thereby realize what? The higher reality which lies beyond what? The phenomenal world. We just talked about that. And it's all perfectly made by religious and philosophical concepts of the religion. We're about to get into that right now. And these disciplines, everybody has some, are referred to as what? Religions. Hello. Right thinking philosophy is a religion. If you practice it and use it every day, that's what religion is meant to be, to take you where you need to be, back to God. I'm doing the same thing. Okay, understand that. Now, watch this. Where we at? These disciplines are referred to as religions and spiritual philosophies. Theology, mythology, mysticism, yoga. Below is the chart I'm about to break down, is a basic listing of what? World religious and spiritual philosophies. Let's get into that right quick. Ooh, I see the clock, but no, this is good stuff here. Let's start with the religious philosophies. From religious philosophies, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. The first group is minds, right thinkers, she taught Netta. What's our philosophy? Non-dualist metaphysics, God manifests as nature and cosmic forces, aka Netaru, union with the divine through what? Wisdom, devotion, identification with the divine, and daily meditation. That's what we do, our philosophy. Let's see what the Vedanta philosophy is. Their philosophy is non-dualist metaphysics, God alone exists, union with the divine through wisdom, devotion, and identification with the divine into daily meditation. Cool. Samkhya is spelled Samkhya. Their philosophy is dualist philosophy, meaning discipline of understanding what is real, God, from what is unreal, the transient world, the physical world, time and space. I ain't got a problem with their philosophy. They got it right. Now you got the Buddhism. They real short. Union with the absolute through extension of what? Desire. If you want it, you go for it. Now, last one, yoga. Yoga is mystical traditional union of individual consciousness with the absolute consciousness, meaning you and him, here and here. Go through cessation of what? Mental activity by what? Wisdom, devotion, and identification, again, with the divine. An example is Egyptian yoga, Indian yoga, Christian yoga, Buddhist yoga, Chinese Taoist yoga. Everybody have a yoga philosophy. That's what it's all about. Yoga is communing with God, getting connected to God. So everybody had a philosophy. Okay, moving on. Now to wrap it up with we got to talk about the religious categories. In religious categories, you're dealing with theism, atheism, ethnicism, ritualism, and monism. Ooh, back to the isms. But let's break it down, see what they mean. First, start with theism. Belief in God. That's everybody's concept, which will save you. Some people got a philosophy of a Messiah coming to save us. You have to save yourself by what? Knowing thyself. Okay? Moving down, they gave example. That's the first part. Then they got a line through and they got example, Orthodox Christianity, Orthodox Islam, Orthodox Judaism. This is y'all philosophy of theism. Y'all believe in God is going to save you. That's fine. Now let's talk about atheism. Salvation is by doing what makes you happy. Sound like my man Al Corey, do as thy will. Oh yeah, that's cool. But when it's time to pay that price, because the pipe playing the music you dancing to, he got to get paid. Philosophically. But I always use that as a concept because my old man got dealt with the judge. He told me the same scenario. Yeah, you out there doing your thing. You dancing to the music. I'm playing the music. Now you got to pay me. So that's the concept. Moving on. But salvation is by doing what makes you happy. And there is no God. Only existence, which just happened on its own without any help. Ludicrous, as Mike would say. For example, okay, you got the Epicureans, you got the Shravakas, you got the atheists, you got the externalists, you got the Stoics, and you got the humanists. Now the Stoics don't say they're a God, they just think everything is in the philosophical, upright, standard, machismo concept, okay? But that's them. Now you got ethnicism. Their belief is salvation by what? Performing the right actions. Like that, that's Maya, selfless service. And for example, what group of people practice that philosophy? You got Zoroastrianism, you got Jainism, you got Confucianism, and you got Aristotelism. Okay, the philosophy, the Greek philosopher. That was their concepts. Now let's talk about ritualism right quick. Yeah, I see the clock ticking. Ritualism says salvation is by performing the correct rituals. Moving on. Example, Brahmanism and priestcraft. Don't like none of that. Don't part of that part. That ritual I won't partake in. Simple. Moving on. Again, if that's what they're doing, you got the right to say, no, I pass. And move on. That's what we're doing. Last one, wrapping it up. And again, appreciate you tuning in. Hope you're getting this understanding. Hope you get the message because it's good information, I thought. Salvation from monism, salvation by understanding, all is the self, God. Okay, I'm gonna get a little, what? No, God, I get it. Gotcha. And their example is now these are a group of people who felt this way. Moving out, moving down. Example, Taoism, Spinoza, Kabbalism, Sufism, idealism, Christian Science, Scientology, remember them? Gnosticism, Gnostic, Christianity, Vedanta, Shita Netta, right thinkers, and Buddhism. Okay? So everybody get the concept of monism, which salvation by what? Understanding. Having knowledge of. That means becoming conscious of what? The self. Know thyself. That's what they practice. Hope you got the lesson. Hope it makes sense to you. Hope you be back for more. I got more for you. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know the right thinker like you and passed away. I'm out.